Hey everybody, welcome back. I know I've been out for a little bit, and welcome to episode 7 of Startups and Code. Today I'm going to give you a brief overview of CES 2024, a little talk about conferences and some startup whys that I think are missing actually a lot. So let's start with the CES. So went to CES, spent the week there, was a presenter actually this time, which is kind of cool because it got early access. However, uh, did not cover all of CES because it was so massive. And I have realized that there is a lot of medical that is going on in regards to new innovations and new ideas. And seeing everyone's probably heard of the Aura Ring. Well, I saw about 5 different competitors for that ring now. I even saw one that was for pets, which is actually pretty interesting, that will detect your animal, your pet's heart rate and things like that. Then I also saw a lot of new gaming screens of like a transparent TV and then 3D television and those kind of concepts. A lot of the innovation is like, oh, well, this won't be live until 2025. And a lot of the medical stuff, they're like, well, we're going through FDA approval and a lot of those kind of concerns. So obviously, a lot of that is not consumer facing yet. These are just ideas. They want to see the kind of traction they get. And people go to all these conferences and meet hundreds of people. And I was one of those people. And it was really interesting to see all the different varieties of people from all over the world to come to Vegas for CES. What I thought was really interesting is what their intentions were. And I think in regards to conferences, a lot of it is about product awareness. And I think the other part is obviously selling something, right? So you can't really sell something that isn't client facing yet, right? Because there's no way to buy it because it hasn't even gotten approval. So that was really interesting that they show up. So I'm guessing that's more of a brand awareness and a marketing awareness of what their products are to be, and then maybe generate some buzz about their company so they can get additional funds for next round of investing or maybe to support what they did. I know a lot of robots were actually at CES this year, and it was actually a little annoying in regards to some of the robots. It was kind of funny because I was like, just move out of my way. I'm just trying to go to the bathroom. Um, so that was actually kind of funny. But conferences, and then obviously January is a big conference month. There's CES in Vegas, there's NRF in New York, and then there's like I think 3 more that are coming um just in the US. So welcome to conference season. Which leads me to the next topic that I wanted to talk about, which is the startups why, right? So a lot of these startups are actually trying to get initial rounds of funding for like seed funding or Series A, Series B, things like that. But while you're doing that, think of what you originally did. And that's why I want to talk about the startups why. Why are you creating this startup? And that is really fascinating because some startup owners don't even know the why. They don't know what problem they're trying to solve. They've lost track of what their intention is. Let's say they've gotten their first round of funding and they're all excited that they're have somebody that believes in them, but understand what they actually were creating. And they were like, "Oh yeah, what was I creating?" Because startups, one of the huge benefits of startups is they're allowed to pivot, right? They might start going in this direction and then they're like, oh, well, this could really be used for this. Oh, this could really be used for this. Oh, maybe we should actually go down this way because our clients are asking for this. Or our investors are suggesting this, and our investors have all of this knowledge. And what's really interesting is the original reason the startup was founded may or may not be aligned with where they're currently at based off of what they're trying to build. So, when you're doing a solopreneur concept and hopefully you're kickstarting yourself and not getting outside funding, when you're doing that, always stick to the why. Um, Basecamp actually does this really well. They understood what they were building. They have not varied from what they were building. They have added on to it, right? But they have always stayed true to we're building this one product. It is amazing how many, and Jason Fried talked about this recently. How many people have come to them to say, "Can you build us a CMS?" Do you know how many CMSs are already out there? Do you know how many CMSs will basically cover everything you could possibly want? However, they don't cover the one niche that this one company does, or it's too complicated to set up, or it's too expensive to set up. Those are generally the cases of why people don't use the existing CMSs. And they're like, I just want a simple solution. I remember for the longest time, one of the startup ideas I had was getting back to the basics. And I used to take all my notes on Notepad. Loved Notepad. Notepad worked great. And it would allow me to insert a date really quickly. That was one of the added features. And I thought that was amazing. And it ended up being this amazing journal. And then I started using repositories for note taking. And I've never gotten away from that. I don't need Notion or Monday or Jira or what was the other one that I used to use? I forgot. Oh, version one. You don't need all of those different tools to manage something that is really simple. I think we tend to get really involved in all the tools that are available to us, and then we forget what our original focus is of like, oh, well, this tool will solve this problem, and this tool will solve this problem. And then I can build a product that actually just incorporates all those tools. Like AI has been this huge bug for 2023, right? And probably continue into 2024. But a lot of the AI products, and I say that in air quotes, that are coming out are just wrappers on top of another AI product. They're not really building anything. They're just building a pretty interface on top of something else, and that something else is getting a kickback of some sort, or maybe they've open sourced it and then somebody is leveraging that open source and then putting a beautiful front end on it. And is that a product? It's debatable, but you're just need to realize the why and what problem you're actually solving when you're building a new startup. I think startups get a lot of distraction as they start early on when they move through things and they're like, we just need to build this product. We just need to build this product. And then they get around to funding. They're like, well, we need to build this now because this seems to be more aligned with our investors. But is that really the kind of product you originally want to build? And are you solving the same problem you originally got into? And you may not be. That may change, and that's okay. But I think a lot of people need to realize and pause and ask themselves, wait, why are we going in this direction? Or why are we doing this? And there might be completely valid reasons for it. And that's really important that you at least are aware of the decisions you're making rather than being led down a path where you forget your original intention. That's why I like to talk about the startup whys. Why did you start your startup? What is the problem you're solving? Why are you here? What is your end goal? Like, do you want to take this company public? Do you want to be acquired? Do you just want to run a successful business for a long period of time? And there are times that you can create a startup and you don't need an exit strategy because you don't want to exit. And that like blows people's mind. They're like, well, if I'm creating a startup, I want to get acquired. Well, then your intentions of creating that startup are probably questionable. Understand what you're doing, what problem you're solving, and who your audience is. It's really important. And once you understand that audience, and I'll even tie this back to CES, then when you go to a conference, you understand your pitch. And your pitch should be very simple, very straightforward. And as you do that pitch to hundreds, potentially hundreds of thousands of people, they should understand what you're building and what you're solving. Are there 20 other competitors out there? Sure, who cares? But what you're doing, you're solving your problem, right? There's a big saying, scratch your own itch, right? And if you do that, then you'll be solving your own problem. And by solving your own problem, there are other people with that same problem. Remember the why you got into the game, right? Entrepreneurship and startups are a game. They're fun, they're amazing, they're exciting, but know why you're in it. It's not for everybody. Um, I guess that's about it. I am back relatively healthy again. Sorry I was out for a week. Thank you for staying in tune, and I will see y'all next week. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Have a good one.